Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Today I am joined by Elam King. Elam, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show, my friend. I'm super excited for you to share the audience on your background, your resume. You've been doing a lot of stuff. I mean, you've done Airbnb, you're currently doing fix and flips. Seems like you've been all over the place since 2007 when you first house hacked your first 7-bedroom home. You and I were speaking offline before we started recording. So welcome to the show, my friend. Why don't you just introduce the audience, who you are, your background, and just how you got here.
Yep. Elam King from Lancaster County, Amish country. I actually grew up Amish. How did I end up on this show? I don't know. I saw a Facebook ad. I'm like, okay, sure, bingo, done. And have I been all over the place? In some ways, yes, but I always keep coming back to real estate. Once I did my first deal, there was no turning back. So, and interesting thing is, here a couple weeks ago, one of our properties was filmed by an HGTV crew. It's going to be premiered on HGTV here in the next couple months. So that's exciting. It's an amazing place. It's very, very unique.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Very cool. So I know, you had a really good run with Airbnb. You built a really great portfolio. Why don't you kind of explain, your process of how that even started and, what eventually that turned into for you?
Yeah. So I think of when I spend money, how can I get it back? I'm not your average consumer where hey, I grew up Amish, and I still remember the day when my dad came home with one of those little, I think it was a 9.6 volt Makita drill, and I was floored. What? Now we go, whatever, you go to the store and pay $50, $100 for something like that. I mean, of similar caliber. I mean, I don't know if they're even on the market anymore. They're like cheap now. So I didn't grow up on luxury or just spending money. So that's the mindset I still have. And so when I do spend money, how can I get that money back? So we bought our first property in 2017, and I started thinking about it. It's like, well, I'm paying rent. I had just gotten married like a year before. And I'm like, all right, I'm paying rent. How can I have my own place? And I didn't even know what real estate was. What's real estate?
Yeah.
But anyway, someone brought this house to me, and it had 3 exterior doors. And I'm like, bingo, I can live in one part and rent the rest out. So we, it was a 7-bedroom house, renovated the whole blessed thing. 3,000 square feet. My first, my first renovation project, and I GC'd the whole thing, and yeah, it didn't go as expected, but we got it done. So then that was just the beginning of the Airbnb space, and then At one time, we were probably managing about $10 million worth of real estate,
Wow.
managing some for other people. It wasn't near all our own. We were managing for other people.
Mm.
Um, and then in 2024, March 19th, still will forever remember that day as a horrible day. Woke up and our whole Airbnb account is suspended, and it took me a full month of calling into Airbnb every day. Airbnb customer service is useless,
Mm.
and that's an understatement.
Mm-hmm.
Completely useless, other than just canned responses. So that was 2024 was a very traumatic year.
Mm.
It was, I mean, that was not one of the businesses, that was the only business I had. It was our only livelihood, and it evaporated overnight. Now we were able to pivot and do some things and, continue to generate revenue, but it was kind of a lost cause. And I'm eventually, a couple of months later, I'm like, okay, what am I doing? Like, is this what I should be doing? And then I started seriously looking at it. It's like, okay, maybe it's time to just let go and let it just all go and look somewhere else. So that's when I started pivoting to fix and flips. I still love unique spaces. And I think there's a lot of future there, but unfortunately, it seemed like the best thing for me was to just let it go, maybe give myself some time to heal, maybe come back stronger in the future.
Right.
And that is actually one key thing about 2024. You can look at that as a setback. I think it was a setup.
Mm.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
I think
Why
it's
do you
just a
say
stepping
that?
stone to something a lot better. The Airbnb, short-term rental Airbnb management is brutal. It is one of the toughest businesses, I think,
Mm.
because people, it's a glorified babysitting, glorified daycare in a lot of ways. I mean, sure, you have a lot of guests who are great, but it just takes one to destroy everything. I mean, we had one time where I ran for my life.
Oh my gosh.
they threw a party and they came after me. They would have had me on the ground. I don't know if they would have killed me, but they would have knocked me out.
Wow.
They were mad. Because they were violating house rules. So I approached them about it, said, hey, what's going on here? And it all went wonky from there. So that's just it. They weren't at fault. They weren't wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, that's the type of stuff that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And to scale it is somewhat difficult unless you have really, really good people around you. But the margins aren't that amazing unless you really get into the right niche. And like your average niche or your average operator, the margins aren't that great.
Very interesting. Yeah, I have
So
heard, there is a lot of clawbacks and drawbacks to the Airbnb model, right? And I
yeah,
do see how it can be almost daunting with the day-to-day, managing the operations of that with, the headaches and the problems that you have to deal with that, right? I mean,
yeah.
that's now here we are in 2025, you now are pivoting in a new direction with doing fix and flips, right? So why don't you share, what that experience is for you? You and I were chatting offline that it is more in the beginning stages, but how's that going for you? And what are your goals to take that business in the next 5 years?
Yeah. So, I actually have 3 in Colorado right now. One just came on the market. Another one's coming on the market this week.
Mhm.
And then another one here in the next 2 weeks. So we kind of did a push. So get those sold and then do another round. And I'm one closing tomorrow, as in selling it. That one went well.
Congrats.
Well, depends on what you call well. I mean, dealing with contractors and everything and getting it done is sometimes a pain, but the numbers came out great. I had a number in mind. It's like, well, if I hit this number, maybe it's just a wash, which stinks, but so be it. But we can get to this number. But we actually are 22,000 and some over that number, so we're good. So that was great. It went under contract in a couple of days, quite a bit over asking. And that's in Lancaster County. Well, no, Lebanon, but surrounding Lancaster. The market here in southwestern PA is just nuts. Just nutso. So, but yeah, so I'm partnering with some other people. My role is fast, just turning into finding the funding and helping find the properties, and then another partner, his role is, well, it's me and one partner are kind of working together on finding them. Another partner and I are going to be working together on funding them. So we're almost set up with a fund, a fix and flip fund that then we're going to raise capital for, and then there's another guy that manages the construction from beginning to the end, or the rehab.
Very cool. So you got a pretty good team set up right now. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're all pretty excited. We're all kind of more in the beginning stages of doing this together. We've all done it ourselves. Between all of us, we've probably done, well, a few hundred flips.
Wow. Yeah, so you got a lot of experience there, right? So I mean,
it's like, look, we know what we're doing, We just had to figure out how to. Actually, the thing that was a learning curve is to do it remotely. So we're setting up to where we can go anywhere in the States and, and start up in that area. And it's just going to be, okay, where are the best markets?
Yeah. How were you able to pivot and be able to set that up to where you're able to do it virtually in different markets?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did some around here as well, but the ones in Colorado, I just had connections.
Got it. Okay.
And I'm like, and he's like, hey, will you bring money? And I'm like, well, I just had this business blow up, but then we sold a couple of our properties at a really good profit. I wasn't expecting. We had one, it was a 7-bedroom house and kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It was a great vacation rental. And then my realtor was like, hey, I think I can probably list it for $850. And I'm like, how about you list it for $895? And he listed it for $895 and it sold for $915. So can't beat that.
No, you can't. Right. Absolutely.
So it's like, so I made quite a bit of money when we had it, and then made a bit when we sold it. So
yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, well, cool, man. Well, I'm interested to know too. I mean, let's kind of rewind a little bit. I know you house hacked, your first 7-bedroom house back in 2007, and you did mention that was actually one of your best deals, ultimately in your career. So I'm curious. I mean, how did you kind of set that up, and then also what did you learn, from that experience?
yeah, it's probably not my best deal anymore, but it was here a year or two ago. But yeah, definitely still one of the better ones. Not every I've had one deal where I lost money. But that's, you win. I've won more than I've lost, but yeah. But for that one, so it's 7 bedrooms. We lived in, so we moved in and we had a kitchen and a bedroom. That's what we had.
Wow.
And a bathroom that was half functional. And I'm like, I'm tired of paying rent. Let's move. We can make this work. We had one kid. He was a couple months old. No, 6 months, 7 months, something like that. And then, so because we had 3 exterior doors, we had our exterior door. And then what we did is we closed doors and put up bookshelves. So it then functioned as a 2 units, 2 different Airbnb units. I mean, it wasn't legally more than 1 unit, but the city didn't care because we were living there. But on Airbnb, we listed as 2 different units. So we had a 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and a 3 bedroom, 1 bath.
Very cool.
And it, yeah, sure, I put time into it and all of that, but it wasn't like crazy. My wife cleaned it usually, or I did sometimes too, because we were right there. But it made quite a bit of money for us, and then we sold it at a pretty good profit as well. Almost 2 years ago, I think. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
So it was great. We eventually was like, all right, we gotta move because our second born is a very, very noisy chap by nature. We love him to pieces, but he makes a lot of noise.
Yeah.
And so it became a problem to where our guests could hear him and they're complaining. I'm like, hey, so we found another place nearby, moved, and then sold this one. So, it worked, but there's a season for everything. And that season has kind of came to a close. I'm like, I might be making $30, $40 an hour on this property, but maybe there's better things for me to do.
Right. Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense.
But for that season, it was great. It was awesome.
Sure. I'm curious, Elam, let's transitioning here to, going back to your Airbnb, right? I mean, I did hear, you went through a lot. 2004, you said you almost lost, almost everything, and the income just dried up overnight.
2024.
Right. There was a lot of people that have been through very hard times, either similar to that or, everybody's dealing with their own, external, internal struggles in business, whether that's personal life, whatever it may be, right? I'm curious though, what was going through your head, throughout that time, and what gave you the drive to say, you know what, I can still pick myself up, dust myself off, and I can start clean again, and I can build something even better than what I had before.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Yeah. Well, I still remember that. So with this whole Airbnb thing is I found an attorney that fights Airbnb for a living.
Oh, wow.
My case is unfortunately too common. And Airbnb is playing the game. They don't care. They do not care as long as they can win. So they said it was because I was submitting fake claims and not returning security deposits. It's like, well, I'm not submitting fake claims. They were all true. And yes, there are a couple of people that didn't return the security deposits because what are security deposits for, right? So anyway, we were going to fight Airbnb, and then we realized partway into it, it's like, it's might versus right. We're not going to win. And the day that he told me, he's like, hey, the good thing at being at the bottom is you can always look up.
Wow.
I'm like, well, thanks, dude.
Yeah. Really?
So yeah, but what got me through it? I mean, trust me, I was afraid I'm going to lose my shirt.
Mm.
And the thing that was the most difficult for me to think about was what if we would lose our personal home too, and then my kids have to go through it.
Mm.
That was rough. It wasn't like that lasted long. I started seeing my way through and what we can do, and we sold some properties and this and that and the other thing. But we were hemorrhaging money, and yeah, we had just spent a bunch of money on scaling the business. We were just ready to blow this up, and then it actually blew up. But one of the things is um I am a strong believer in the goodness of God.
I love
That
that.
got me a long way.
Mm.
That doesn't mean life is easy. That doesn't mean you get everything handed to you on a silver platter. That's not goodness. That's just spoiled.
Mm.
But goodness, in the end, everything works out for good. Your ultimate good is the end goal. There's a song that I listen to at times. Jason Gray, "Love will have the final word." So even though the chapter may end in sorrow, the book will end in laughter.
Oh, I love that.
What I'm experiencing today is not indicative of where things are going to end up at. In fact, pain is a gift.
It is. Mm-hmm.
Because pain awakens you to all the goodness that life has for you. I don't know how to explain it better than that. And I had my personal moments. Uh as an I literally went to a great graveyard close by and symbolically buried my 7-year-old child. Because that's how the business was, 7 years. And I'm like, okay, I give it up for something better.
Man.
And ask me in a year, man.
Yeah.
But we're not through the woods, but it's definitely getting better and better each day.
Right. I think that's
It was I know, so business failure, people are like, focus on the numbers. True. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a level of where you have to focus on the numbers. Don't get all emotional about stuff. Don't let, keep focusing on the numbers, keep focusing on the vision.
Sure.
And don't let your emotions get swayed all over the place. So that there is truth to that, but at the same time, my 2024 was a deeply personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
So many people said to me, Elam, why don't you start your own OTA? I'm like, are you crazy?
Yeah.
One, the market's not asking for another OTA right now, but maybe someday I'll come back with a very different business model that I'll actually be competitive, and I have some ideas. I'm just not ready to focus on it.
Right. Fakes and flips is the focus right now. Right.
No, yeah, and I mean, I can be passionate about it. I love real estate. I love making properties pretty. I love the process, but it's not like I'm doing fix and flips because I think it's the greatest thing in the world. I think it's awesome, and I can get really passionate about it, but it's the stepping stone right now.
I like that. So I'm curious too, Elam, I mean, what is your current buy box criteria that you and your partners are looking for? Are you guys more looking for full guts, more lipstick jobs, very simple, paint and some drywall, or, what kind of deals are you guys looking for right now to take down?
If the numbers make sense, the numbers make sense.
Okay. I like that.
Now, we do prefer the moving them fast.
Mm-hmm.
Buy them, rehab for a month, put it back on the market, 2 months after originally purchasing it or sooner, which is the last 2 in Colorado. I think less than 2 months we were back. Yeah, it was less than 2 months we were back on the market.
Okay.
And it went on the market like 10 days ago. We've had a number of showings, but still waiting for that offer. But currently we're focusing on Eastern PA and the Colorado Springs.
Okay.
But again, we're open to moving to new markets. We're not chomping at the bit to move into a market right now because we want to, take one pocket and grow it.
Sure.
Take the next pocket, grow it. So yeah.
No, makes a lot of sense.
But actually, our biggest, probably our biggest thing is, so we're setting up a fix and flip fund. It's going to a max of $5 million. So if we can raise $5 million, we can do hundreds of flips.
Well, let's talk about that, right? Because I know you and I were talking offline. So I mean, how are you orchestrating that? What does that look like? How can people, really get involved with something like that?
Yeah. I mean, hey, reach out to me. My Facebook handle is Elam King. ELAMZKING. So people can reach out to me and I'll get them put in the right direction. We're even doing some where we're partnering with people. I have a deal or two right now where I brought in partners. We partnered on the deal. So there's different ways, but essentially what we're looking for is 2 different people. Well, I should say three types of people, but primarily 2. People who can bring money. It's like, hey, here's money. I don't know what to do with it. Good, we'll take it. We'll make it do the work. We have the systems and the people.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing is funding deals. No, we have our areas of funding deals, but we can always get better. And then the third would be is if there's a new area, each pocket that we go to, we still need to have people on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Boots on the
ground.
Even
though from the correct, even from the top level, we're staying all virtual, but it's finding the right people on the ground. Yeah,
that's important. Mm-hmm.
I mean, if there would be someone, for an example, it's like, hey, I know whatever, Timbuktu in Arizona. I don't know if the place exists, but Timbuktu in Arizona is a really good spot. I don't have the money. I don't want to be responsible for everything, but I'm willing to help, like on the grounds, kind of like keeping my eye on things.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk.
Very cool.
That's my. But the primary thing we're working on right now is the fund. It's all but launched, and then yeah.
Awesome.
The ideal investor would be is like, look, I have money. I don't know what to do with it. I want to make more money with it. I don't want the stress of managing this stuff because, yeah, fix and flips aren't easy. They are not easy.
Anybody that says
and also there's
not lying. So yeah,
there's also a huge learning curve in how to do it well and profitably.
Yeah,
like you can get screwed over by contractors.
Mm-hmm.
They're the worst. I love the guys. I need them, but it attracts people who are out to get you. Get your money.
Yeah. So how is the relationships with your contractors now? I mean, do you have some type of vetting process you make them go through to where, you have like basically like maybe like a trial period to where, you kind of see how their communication is and just kind of see how their work is, or like, how are you vetting your contractors and your relationship with those guys?
So that would really be a question for Steve, the guy, the project manager guy, one of the partners, because he's doing most of that. But I can still speak because, hey, I've done a lot of myself. You see what they've done. You give them a smaller project. You give them very clear parameters. This is what is required of you in this whole grand, remodel. Here's yours, and this is what we want you to do. Here's your checklist, and then once you're done, we'll pay you. And then, we also have an inspection. So it's like, you didn't do what you're supposed to, or, hey, good job, you got it. Here's your paycheck. So that's I guess that would be post the vetting, but the vetting is just, look at their experience, maybe some referrals or references, and just see if they can do what they say they can do.
No, thank you for sharing that. I think it's really important, by you sharing that too, because there are a lot of people, even in the audience, that maybe are just not familiar with this process and they don't understand they're about to maybe embark on that journey, maybe doing their first flip. And if they can avoid some of these problems, it'll definitely save them long term to set them up for success. So,
There's two mistakes.
yeah.
Two mistakes that I see that easily get made. One is you give them the whole thing, or you just give them like whatever. It's not clearly defined.
Right.
That's the one thing, and the other thing is not having a deep Rolodex. In other words, you hire someone, and they're the only person who can do what you want them to do, hopefully. But then if they end up not actually being worth their salt, then you're screwed.
Got it.
But if you have a deep Rolodex, you have four framers and 5 drywall guys and 2 flooring guys, whatever. Otherwise, you end up and say, oh, crap, this isn't getting done. And then you're wasting time on a fix and flip. Time equals additional costs, additional holding costs. So just an example on the two that we did recently in Colorado, it was a $40,000 flip and a $40,000 rehab and a $55,000 rehab, and we got them done in 46 weeks.
Wow.
Because
very cool.
Boom, we gotta go. We don't want holding costs, So that's, and we're just getting started. Like, we want to build this up. Look, we can go in there and I forget what the show is, but there's a show out there where a house was flipped in like 12 hours. Now, it was a show, right?
Yeah.
And would it be worth putting everything together to make it that efficient? I mean, what they did in the backside of that to make that happen, probably not worth it. But it's still like, well, it's possible. So we can start doing $50,000 flips in, 3 weeks and do it efficiently. Then let's do it.
Right. Absolutely. No. 100%.
Or $50,000 rehabs.
Right. That makes a lot of sense, man. That makes a lot of sense. These are definitely such valuable information, that you're sharing. And I couldn't appreciate your time enough, Elam. Unfortunately, I wish we had another 30 minutes to an hour to speak on. But unfortunately we don't. But man, I just want to, again, just give you my applause, the fact that you were again able to pivot, from your experiences and just not let that be, your story. And, ultimately I'm just wishing you nothing but the best in your future endeavors, you and your partners. And we're going to put where people can find you in our descriptions as well. So they can reach out to you. But again, it's a pleasure having you on today's show, my friend, and wishing you nothing but the best.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I did. And as always, my friends, we will see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.